when William Leahy whispered something to FDR at Yalta, February 1945. Amid the optimism surrounding the approaching end of World War II, Allied leaders gathered at the Yalta Conference to determine the future of Europe and the post-war world. Seated around the table were President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, the famous Big Three. Yet, behind the discussions of peace and a new international order, disagreements between the United States and the Soviet Union over Eastern Europe remained a major obstacle. The Western Allies wanted Eastern Europe to emerge as a collection of free and democratic nations. For the Soviet Union, however, Eastern Europe represented both a strategic investment and a sphere of influence that could secure communist power after the war. At Yalta, Stalin appeared willing to accommodate Allied concerns, at least on the surface. However, William D. Leahy, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Roosevelt's senior military advisor, carefully scrutinized every promise Stalin made, especially regarding Poland and the future of Eastern Europe. While many hoped that cooperation between the West and the Soviet Union would continue after the war, Leahy sensed the warning signs of another conflict in the making. He believed several of the agreements were too vague and allowed the Soviets considerable room to interpret the Yalta terms in ways that served their own interests. Leahy reportedly warned President Roosevelt that Soviet promises might not be carried out as expected, even though Roosevelt viewed the situation more optimistically at the time. His concerns proved well-founded. Within a few years, Eastern Europe had fallen under Soviet domination. What Leahy whispered at Yalta was more than skepticism. It was one of the earliest signs of the Cold War to come. Rather than becoming fully independent democracies, many Eastern European nations became Soviet satellite states throughout the Cold War.